All right, fourth graders, we are on Unit 1, Week 4, and our story this week is called The Horned-Toed Prince. And so go ahead and get your word collector out and be ready to learn some new vocabulary words this week. So a few friendly reminders before we get started. Remember to stop the video at any time to write down definitions. So this video is going to go faster than you can write. So you need to go ahead and pause it when you get to definitions and when you need to write in your word collector. So don't forget to do that. Make sure you go at a pace that works best for your learning. Okay, some of you might be able to go faster, some of you might go take a little more time, and that is okay. Do what works for you. Remember to stay on task. Remember to not go on any other apps or sites. You should only be on my YouTube channel and be listening to this vocab video. And lastly, always work hard and be an active learner. All right, our first word this week is lassoed. So a sentence using the word lassoed is one cowboy has lassoed a steer. So if you take a look at this picture, we have two cowboys on horses, and one of them has lassoed a steer. So using this picture and using this sentence, go ahead and write down in your word collector what you think lassoed means. So lassoed means caught with a long rope with a loop on one end. So if you take a look at this picture right here, this is a really good picture of a lasso, and you can see that it has one big loop on one end. And usually lassos are used to catch cattle or other animals that you would see cowboys use. So go ahead and write down that definition. Our next word is bargain. So a sentence using the word bargain would be, this woman has made a bargain with a car salesperson. So this woman has made a bargain with a car salesperson. So if you take a look at this picture, you can see that they are shaking hands. There seems to be like some paperwork around them. It almost looks like they're kind of making a deal with one another. So go ahead and write down what you predict bargain means based on these clues. So a bargain is a deal or an agreement to trade. So a bargain is a deal or agreement to trade. So go ahead and write down that definition. Okay, and if you look here, there's a picture of some people making a bargain. Looks like they're in an appliance store. And the one person says $600 and the other person says no deal. The other person says $650 with a 1-year warranty. And the lady says, let's do it. Okay, so if you can look at this picture, the price tag, it says $799, and they just bargained it down to $650. So they just made a deal with these people at the store. So think about, if you give someone a pencil in exchange for a book, do you think that is a fair bargain? So do you think that would be a fair deal? All right, our next word is offended. This boy offended his classmates talking on the phone during class. This boy offended his classmates by talking on the phone during class. So if you look at this picture, we have the boy who's on the phone, and then we have two girls who are looking at them. And if you look at their facial expressions, how their face looks, they do not look very happy. One of them's kind of shushing them, telling them to be quiet. So think about what you think offended means based on these picture clues and the sentence clues. So offended means hurt feelings or made angry. Hurt feelings or made angry. So if you look at these two pictures, we have two people who have facial expressions that say they must be offended. So they have hurt feelings or are made angry by something. So a lot of the times you might be offended by something someone says or something that someone does that might hurt your feelings or make you upset. So think about, would someone be offended if you gave them a compliment? So hopefully someone wouldn't be offended if you gave them a compliment, because a compliment is something that is positive. So you should be happy or flattered by getting a compliment. You would be offended, though, if someone said something mean to you. But if someone gave you a compliment, you would not be offended. All right, our next word is riverbed. So sentence using the word riverbed is, this riverbed lies between steep mountains. This riverbed lies between steep mountains. So go ahead and look at those picture clues and predict and write down what you think riverbed means. All right, so our next word is riverbed. So a riverbed is a channel where a river flows or used to flow. So a channel where a river flows or used to flow. So if you take a look, we have two different pictures here. Both of them are riverbeds, but they're a little bit different. So if you look at this picture right here, you can see that there's water in this riverbed, and there's currently a river flowing through this riverbed. Okay. If you look at this picture right here, this one's a little bit different. This is a riverbed that is dried up, so there is not a river that's currently flowing through it. It's all dried up. Even though these are different, they are both riverbeds. So it can be a channel where there's currently a river flowing through, or it can be one that is already dried up. Our next word is shrieked. This woman shrieked because something frightened her. This woman shrieked because something frightened her. So go ahead and look at this picture. Look at her facial expression and what she's doing with her body language, her hands, and think about what the word shrieked means, and go ahead and write that down. So shrieked means to make a loud, sharp, shrill sound. To make a loud, sharp, shrill sound. So if you take a look at these pictures, these are pictures of people who are probably shrieking, making a loud, sharp, shrill sound. So think about, what is something that has made you shriek before? Okay, maybe a time you've been scared. Maybe you've had a brother or sister scare you. One thing that would make me shriek is seeing like a mouse or a big spider. Those things would make me scream or shriek for sure. All right, our next word is prairie. This is a view of a prairie. So take a look at this picture and kind of see what a prairie would look like. Really use those picture clues. And go ahead and write down that prediction about what you think prairie means. So a prairie is a large grassy area of level or rolling land. So a large grassy area of level or rolling land. So if you look at this one right here, this is a prairie that's pretty level or pretty flat, pretty straight all across the land. There's no hills, there's no bumps, there's no mountains or anything. It's a pretty flat, level area of land in a grassy area. So that would be considered a prairie. This picture right here, this one would be a little bit more of rolling land, and what rolling means is that it's a little more bumpy, a little bit more hilly, but it's still considered a prairie. So it's a grassy land that has kind of some hills and bumps here and there. So if you think about, our town's name is Blooming Prairie, okay, we can kind of assume or predict that our town has the word prairie in it because our town and the area around our town is very flat. We don't have mountains. We don't really have a lot of hills. The land around us is a prairie. It's flat, grassy land. All right, our next word is favor. This man is doing a favor for the woman by grabbing the book for her. So if you look at this picture, she can't quite reach that top shelf. So this man is going ahead and grabbing that book for her and doing her a favor. So think about what that word means and go ahead and write it down. So a favor is an act of kindness. So we've been talking about kindness a lot in our classroom. and talking about ways that we can show kindness. So a favor is an act of kindness. So here we have some pictures of some different acts of kindness. If you look at the one on the left, we have someone holding an umbrella for a woman in a wheelchair who can't hold her own umbrella while it's raining. So that would be a wonderful act of kindness. If you look at the picture on the right, we have two softball players helping another softball player off of the field, and we can kind of predict or infer that this softball player must be injured. And so they are helping her off of the field, which is a really great act of kindness. So I want you to think about what is a favor that you could do for someone today. I think it's important to try to do at least one act of kindness each and every day. So think about what is one favor or act of kindness that you could do for someone today. It doesn't have to be big. It can be something just super simple to try and help someone out. All right, kiddos, that is our last word for this week. Make sure you go back if you need to and rewind to get all of those definitions, make all of those predictions, and make sure you have all of our vocab words written down in your word collector. Thanks for being active learners.